Hello, my amazing artists. Welcome to another Art with me, Miss Taub. Today we are talking about the word expressions. An expression is how we can look at someone's face and tell how they're feeling. So, if you are making a happy face, you might be smiling and your eyes might get squinty. If you're sad, you're definitely going to make a frowny face. If you're excited, your eyes get really big. There's lots of ways to show our expressions. Maybe you might want to take a look in the mirror and practice different expressions to see how your face changes. Animals can also show their expressions. I'm going to show you a couple animals, and I want you to think about what these animals are feeling when you look at them. This cat actually has a name. She is called Grumpy Cat because she has a grumpy face. Grumpy Cat looks grumpy because of the shape of her mouth and because her eyes kind of have this line on top. Pretty crazy. How about this guy? I love this little goat. You can tell how happy I think he's happy because you can see his smile and his eyes are really big. What about this guy? I feel like I'm not sure about this one. What do you think? If you said he's surprised or maybe confused, how can you tell? Because his eyes are gigantic. I really, really wonder what he's looking at that gives him that silly face. What about this doggy? I feel like this doggy did something he shouldn't have done. Like maybe he chewed up his mom's shoes and she got mad at him. Or maybe he jumped onto the counter and ate the dinner off of someone's plate and she got mad. He looks so sad. He knows he did something wrong. How about this silly baby orangutan? I love how his hair is kind of sticking up. And because he's wearing a sweater, that makes me think that maybe he lives in a zoo with scientists. What do you think he's thinking? I feel like maybe they came out with some sort of food and he's just so surprised. He's like, wow. All right, this last one's my favorite. This polar bear. How do you think this polar bear is feeling? I feel like he's upset. He's just like, ugh, what did my mom knows I don't like fish. Today, we're actually going to be drawing some polar bears. So what I want you to do is look at these pictures of polar bears. And I want you to notice where their eyes are, where their noses are, and really the shape of the face, like this one up here. The shape of this big mama bear is a big old circle. Her ears are two curves. Her eyes are very small, but her nose and her mouth are coming forward. You can really see that in this picture or in this picture of the cub. Their noses pop forward, so maybe we could use another circle to show that the nose is popping forward. Before we get started on creating our adorable polar bears, I did want to tell you a little bit about the word pattern. You might already know what a pattern is. A pattern is something that repeats. For example, in this pattern, I did A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C, A, B, C. A, B, C, the letters are in a pattern. But if you look closely, you can also see that I did capital letters and lowercase letters, capital letters and lowercase letters. So this actually has two patterns in it. Pretty interesting. What about this one? You can create patterns with shapes or with colors. So in this one, I did a diamond, circle, triangle, heart, and I even repeated the colors too. Pink, red, orange, yellow, pink, red, orange, yellow. Pretty cool. This one only repeats one thing, two numbers, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You can use letters, shapes, numbers, and even different lines. Look at these lines. I did zigzag line, straight line, wavy line, zigzag line, straight line, wavy line, and I changed up the colors too. So this actually has two parts of a pattern. If you were to repeat the same thing over and over and over again, it's not going to be a pattern. It needs to have more than one thing to make it a pattern. Okay, friends, before we start creating our art, I want you to go find a piece of paper. Polar bears are white, so white might be the best. A large circle to trace, maybe a plate or a bowl. I'm actually going to use the bottom of this globe because I thought it was the perfect size circle. You'll also need a pencil and whatever you want to use to color. I think today I might use marker, but again, it's up to you and it depends what you have at home. I will see you in a second for us to create our adorable polar bears.
Hello, my amazing artists. For this assignment, you will need one plain sheet of paper, a pencil eraser, and something to trace. I like to use a Sharpie, but if you don't have Sharpie, a black crayon could work. I'm also using markers for this project, but again, it's up to you and what you have. Get your big circle, find the center of your paper and the center of your circle, and then using your helper hand, hold down whatever you're using to trace and trace around so you get a nice big circle in the center of your paper. This will be our polar bear's head. Then I'm going to do two curves, rainbow-shaped curves, that are going to create semicircles for our polar bear's ears. I kind of messed up on this one, so I'm going to make sure that I like it exactly how I want it. And then inside, I'm going to do two more curves for the inside of my polar bear's ears. If you wanted to add a bow or a hat, you could totally do that. You are the artist. Then, with my finger, I'm going to draw the small circle for the muzzle. If you wanted to trace something, you can, but I'm just going to use my hands and draw it. Then I'm going to do two circles for eyes. Remember, the eyes are pretty small, so make sure your circles are nice and small too. Then for the big black nose, I'm going to draw a rectangle. I like to curve the edges of my rectangle to make it look a little more realistic, but if you just want to draw a regular rectangle, go for it. In the center, I draw a vertical line down and a curve for the smile. If you wanted to make a frowny face to show your expression or eyebrows to show your expressions, that is up to you. You are the artist and you get to decide how your polar bear is feeling. Once you have the face, we are going to add the body, drawing two diagonal lines to the corners. Because polar bears live in the snow and the Arctic, we are giving our polar bears sweaters by adding a collar with two triangles. I'm then also going to add some pattern buttons, and this is the fun part where you get to add lines and shapes and color eventually for your polar bear sweater. You can decorate it however you like. You are the artist. You'll see me mostly using lines because I actually like to add my patterns using color after I've already drawn it in. Once you're done with your polar bear sweater, you can add snowflakes to show where your polar bear lives. Draw a T and an X on top. You can make as many or as few snowflakes of different sizes that you want to show that your polar bear lives in the Arctic. Once you are done with your pencil, trace all of your lines using a Sharpie or black crayon. You'll see I leave a little white in the eyes and a little white on the nose to show the shine. Again, you're the artist, so you can decide exactly how your polar bear is going to look. You'll see I didn't trace my snowflakes yet because I actually want to use marker for that part. Here's where you get to color in your sweater however you want. You'll see that I actually used all colors related to the color green because it's my favorite. And I figured that since blue and yellow make green, I would use those colors as well. If you remember, those are called analogous colors when they're next to each other on the color wheel. I then made sure to trace my snowflakes blue so that they stand out in the background. If we wanted to add something else to our polar bear to make him look more realistic, we could use the element of art, texture. Texture is the way that something feels or looks like it feels. So soft like this yarn, maybe smooth like this box, or even bumpy like this metal container that I have. These are all texture words and they describe how something feels. If you were to pet a real polar bear, how do you think he would feel? Perhaps he would feel soft or fuzzy. Now, Pattern is different from texture because with pattern you repeat at least 2 things over and over again. But to show a texture, you're only going to repeat one thing to show that our polar bear would feel fuzzy if we were to touch him. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to erase some of my pencil lines, and then with my Sharpie, I'm going to go around my muzzle. And in super speedy fast mode, you will see that I use those tiny dashed lines to go around the eyes and to fill up all of the white space that is in my polar bear's face. I have to fill up all of the space because he's fuzzy all over. I even add those short dashed lines around the outside to show his fur, and I didn't forget to add those dashed lines in my ears as well. I cannot wait to see your adorable fuzzy polar bears. Don't forget to send me a photo and have fun. See you soon!